Welcome friends to this series of learning Google Cloud Platform networking series. In the last lesson, we saw how we can create a private subnetwork and create a VM instance inside that network, and we can securely run and connect that VM inside that private network. This VM was completely invisible and secure from the outside world. In this lecture, we will see how we can access the internet from a secure private virtual machine. Are you excited to have this experience? I'm sure you will be delighted to have this learning. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please do it now. This will help you to watch when new videos will be available. Also, please hit the notification button so that you can get notified too. So let's get started. So in the last lecture, we had these DB private GA subnetwork where we created one VM inside it, and we were able to connect to that particular VM only from the VM inside this US Central GA subnetwork. And there was no access from the internet to this VM instance. So the only way to connect to this VM instance to the VM instance from US Central GA. Now, the problem is that if we can have some requirement to install some software or the patches, or maybe we can try to install the database in this particular server, how we can access the internet in these private subnet. So in that case, we are having this NAT gateway in between these network and the internet, and this particular secure gateway will allow the internet to access from this particular VM inside the private network. So let's jump to the GCP web console and we will see how we can use this NAT gateway to access the internet from this secure private network. Now let's first connect to the instance 1 because that's the instance from where we can able to connect to our DB VM. So if we go ahead and connect to this VM instance 1, and then from the instance 1, if we try to connect to this DB VM with the private IP, and first let's try whether we can able to reach the internet with update command. So maybe we can say sudo apt-get update -y. So now see it is trying to connect to the repository Debian map STNet, which is basically on the internet 199.232.92.132. It's a public IP, but it is not able to connect to the internet because it actually does not have any kind of access to the network. Nobody can access these BBVM from the outside world, and as well as this particular VM cannot reach to the internet. So it just failed to connect. Now let's see how we can connect to these VM instance through some other way around. Okay, so let me jump to the web console and we can see how we can create these cloud NAT gateway. So what exactly the cloud NAT is, you can see the details. Cloud NAT lets you to access the internet or the other VPC networks for your computing instances or the Kubernetes engine containers pod. to communicate with the internet. So it will use a shared public IP address or the dedicated NAT subnetwork. So through this cloud NAT, we can able to access the internet for our VM instance, creating the secure private subnetwork. So let's get started. So if you check this particular form, you have to provide a gateway name. So maybe we can say NAT Gateway for DB server. Okay. And there are two types of NAT gateway. So one is public and private. So as we are going to access the internet, so it will be a public kind of NAT. If we are going to communicate with other VPC privately, so we can use this private type of NAT gateway. So select the router. So we are going to use this network and we will have this US Center 1 and the cloud router that we need to create. So here we need to say like we need GB cloud router and we can say create. So now cloud NAT mapping is basically wants to map the endpoint as VM instance or some kind of managed proxy load balancers. So if you select this managed proxy load balancer, if you want regional application load balancers, whether it is internal or external, and the regional proxy network load balancer, whether it is internal or external, to use the NAT Gateway. But we are using these VM instances as endpoint. So here we have to choose these VM instances as the source endpoint type. So what exactly we are going to do? So primary and secondary ranges of all subnets, primary ranges of all subnets, that includes ranges created later. Even if you choose this one, it should be include the secondary ranges of all subnets as well. So we can find with this automatic one. Let's explore this advanced section. So we are not going to log any kind of cloud NAT events. If you log, it will use your cloud storage and that will incur some cost. So port allocation, I'm just keeping it as default. So minimum ports per VM instance are 64 and enable endpoint independent mapping. So you can have timeouts for each and everything. I'm just going to say create. So it is running. Okay. Now let's jump to the Cloud Shell console and we can connect to our instance 1 because from where we can able to connect to the VM instance. So first we'll log into this instance 1, which is in other subnetwork where we are having this SSH port open. So we are going to connect to this instance 1, and once we'll be connected from this instance 1, we can now able to connect to this VM instance, DB VM instance, or with the help of this private key. So if you do so, then we are connected to DB VM. Now, as we are having this cloud network up and running, Now, this particular VM, DBVM, can access the internet through this cloud NAT gateway. So if we say apt-get update -y with sudo, then now we can able to read all these internet files and folders. So now it can able to access the network. Thank you, friends, for watching this video. We from the Learning Light team congratulate you on completing this video. In this lecture, we saw how we can access the internet from a secure private VM with the help of a NAT gateway. However, there is a catch. This NAT gateway was created over the region US Central 1. So both of the subnets, US Central GA and DB Private GA, will be using this NAT gateway at the same time. In the upcoming lecture, we will see how we can put the NAT gateway for a specific subnet, for example, say DB Private GA, without spanning it across the region. Wish you all the best and good luck. Before leaving here, please do not forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. We worked a lot to present you such a thing. So please encourage us by putting your comments in the comment section. If you have any doubt, please leave your concerns and we will reply with our best efforts. Have a nice day and see you in the next lecture.